In this video, we're going to do another tactics video. React to an ambush while dismounted. We are not the ones putting in the ambush. We are the ones who unwittingly walked into an enemy ambush. Now, your reaction to this is based off of the distance to the enemy. There's basically two classifications for this when you look this up, the battle drills. There's react to a far ambush and react to a near ambush. It's classified as a near ambush if the enemy is within grenade range for you. And we're not talking 40 millimeter and 30 millimeter. We're talking hand grenades, your M67 fragmentations, and its equivalents around the world. So anything beyond grenade range is considered a far ambush. Now, let's put this in a little context in your mind. First off, we'll start with the far ambush. This is our friendly force. We have 10 personnel, a squad that's moving out. These little lines coming off the sides here are the orientation of their weapons. Point man's facing his weapon forward, rear man's facing it backwards, and then everyone is herringboned off so that you have 360 cover. We have these two up here are watching as much to the front as possible, the direction that they're going. We're not worried as much about in the back, so we're not going to have these guys facing to the back. The only one who's going to be looking back every once in a while is the guy back here. He's not going to be walking backwards because he can trip over something. But say every couple steps he's going to turn back, scan, and then keep moving forward. Our enemy ambush is over here. We do not know the size. Now for far ambush. Let's say our friendlies here do not have a lot of land navigation experience by map. They may have it with using a GPS, but they have to navigate through the woods here with a paper map. They decided that they're going to move along a right-of-way for utilities. For those of you that have ever seen pictures of this, it'll be, you see this a lot with utility lines moving through the woods and also pipelines. You'll have that cleared channel going through the woods. It could be 50 meters wide, could be 100, could be more. They do that so that the trees do not grow up around the utilities, causing it problems. They keep that area sprayed and mowed. Depending how far away from civilization determines if they're going to mow it or if they're going to spray it. So they're staying smart. They're staying on inside the edge, inside the tree line, on the edge of that cleared area, that little wildlife highway. Now the enemy put in an ambush on the other side. They thought that these guys would walk right through that cleared area. So they're a little bit farther away, but they were seen right on inside the kill zone, so they open up. So what's their reaction to this? It's a far ambush. They're 50 meters away. That's well outside grenade range. Well, first what they're going to do is return fire. At least the element that's inside the ambush will start returning fire, while the squad leader determines what's going on. And that squad leader should make that decision within a couple seconds. He determines that it is a far ambush, that there's no fire coming from this side over here, so he's not caught in between two enemy forces. So he must have tripped an ambush that was expecting him closer in. So what he determines he needs to do with a far ambush, you break contact. Now, they're going to have to try to cover up their movements from enemy sight. Otherwise, the enemy's just going to keep shifting fires after them. So, what they do, they toss in 1 or 2 high concentration white smokes into between the enemy and them inside this clear area. Now where that leader will toss that smoke will be based off the wind. If the wind is coming from over here blowing this way, he'll toss it in up over here. If it's coming from this direction, he'll toss it over this way. If it's coming in from behind him going towards the enemy, he might pop off 2 of them right in front of him, right here, so it'll blow the smoke right across the enemy. Now, I got some training aids here. This one is an M18 smoke grenade. The top of the grenade tells you the color. These are a dark green color. This one is violet. This is an M18 HC high concentration smoke. These are a light green with a white top. They're the same size, same weight. The difference that you can tell them is obviously the colors. So when he's laying out smoke for obscuration, he's going to use this, not this. This is meant for marking and does not produce as large of a cloud as this does. Can you use colored smoke for obscuration? Yes, but you're going to use probably twice as many grenades for it. So, the squad leader tosses, or the team leader, or both, will toss in the smoke. Get the cloud going here while everyone returns fire. The team that is not inside the ambush will be the first ones to pull back. And then on order, these guys cease fire and then just pull back, and then everyone reforms and continues forward. They may decide to pull back into the woods another 50 meters or maybe 100 meters. The squad leader here should make that determination and tell everybody, and everyone must know that before the smoke goes in. Because once that smoke and obscuration goes in, people over here are going to just start reacting automatically. So he needs to pass that information out and make sure that everyone gets the info. So when it reaches the team leaders, they should give a thumbs up or some type of signal, a hand wave, letting the squad leader know they got the word. It made it down to them. Now you may want to come up with some type of hand signal also, which will acknowledge the direction, like flashing a 5 and a 0 for 50, maybe a thumbs up for a 100. If it's 10 meters, just a single finger up, that type of thing. So smoke goes in, and then everyone pulls off, reforms, and then starts moving in the direction they were heading. Now it's possible the squad leader may want to change direction for a bit to throw the enemy off. The squad leader will make that determination once they're out of the kill zone. He could do it when he's back here, or he could move ahead, say 500 meters, and then make that determination. But the reaction to a far ambush is break contact. Now, a near ambush. The enemy is within grenade range. We're in the woods, we're walking along, and the enemy opens up on us. Now they initiated the ambush too soon in this one. Instead of doing it in the center, they did it right on that first squad in front. Or it could be there's a platoon laid out up in here, and we have a platoon here. Following behind a few more minutes is another platoon. We have a little bit of separation in there. They think the platoon that walks in is the entire guerrilla force, not realizing that 5 minutes back at walking pace is another platoon. So these guys immediately start pouring in fire. Now there's two ways to deal with this one with a close ambush. The first one and the automatic one is you start putting in fire. You hit the ground, you pour in fire. Your team leaders then, your squad leaders, toss in fragmentation grenades. And as soon as those fragmentation grenades go off, everyone gets up and charges into the enemy, shooting from the hip as they're going. Or if they're able to get their weapon up to the shoulder and able to get an aimed shot, get it in that way. But you're at a minimum, you're trying to put the fire in the enemy's direction where they're at, and they're going to be pretty close. Once they definitely get right up on the enemy, they're definitely going to want to get their weapons up on their shoulder and start putting in those accurate fires right into the enemy, and you just keep pumping rounds into them until they stop moving. Now another possibility, these guys are in the ambush here, they get pinned. They're not able to toss the grenades in. We still have an element that is outside the kill zone. Now what that element in the back then should do, or if they launch the ambush on the back and the front half is outside the ambush, the element that is outside the ambush should flank. So this rear team will pivot. They'll move over off the side. Now, if we know for sure generally where the enemy's ambush line is, the soldier that's going to be walking right into that should be carrying your saw. Your automatic rifleman. Ideally, we'll have just the one person in front of the enemy ambush and everyone else is behind. But then they start moving forward. And then killing the enemy as they go. Now the signal that they are going to be moving in, there should be some type of pre-established procedure for this that'll be determined by the unit. What I used to do is I would train my troops to go by hand grenade. So the team leader that's over here, he signaled by radio to the team leader that's caught up in here that they're going to flank. Signal will be fragmentation. So he gets everyone online, everyone's kneeling, tosses out the fragmentation into the enemy formation. It goes off. Then that's the signal for these guys to either shift fires or cease fires. And then they start moving through their kill zone now, clearing up the enemy one at a time. If any of these guys start breaking, they start moving back, that's where you got the people that are behind will pick them off as they're trying to run. If any of these guys get froggy, they want to start charging in, well then these guys down here will pick that person off. That's basically the three ways for reacting to an ambush. One of them for far ambush and two variations for near ambush. The difference between the near and the far is grenade range. Now you're probably asking, what's grenade range? I've seen 5 to 15 meters mentioned in different doctrines and different books. It's really how far you can throw a hand grenade. So maybe you're going to test it out sometime, get some training grenades and measure out the distance. See how far your people can throw hand grenades accurately, consistently. Maybe your unit can reach that 15 meter mark, or maybe 20 meters. Or maybe reliably you guys can only throw 5 meters. Test it out. practice this over and over again, because this reaction has to be almost instantaneous. As soon as the enemy opens up on you, you need to react right then and there. It should be just instant. Because the longer you are in the kill zone inside an ambush, the greater your casualties will be. And you will truly be in a world of fecal matter at that point. Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and militia movements, always remember, essayons.